blazing, hot, scorching, on fire, red hot.
This is why I'm hot.
It's the Sports Roundtable Hot News.
Sports Roundtable Hot News sponsored by the Big Easy Grill. If you're looking for the best New Orleans seafood in town, please go over to our friends at the Big Easy Grill, 1193 Collier Road, Atlanta, Georgia. The best shrimp in town. It is verified. And, of course, the po' boy and the crab claws are as well. All right, Han. First story hit last week, and we talking about Julio. Julio Jones missing volunteer OTAs.
Yeah.
Said that his contract needs to be corrected.
Yeah, OTAs are one of those things that's supposedly volunteer, but it's kind of like mandatory volunteer. So, it just seems like the narrative has been kind of dampered a little bit with Tom Brady sitting out now and Gronk. So everybody's really not talking about money or trying to spend other people's money now because Brady has made it fashionable to sit out. See, when he can do it, then it's a little bit less of a distraction. But anyway, Julio's thing. Julio is entering the last, he's in 3 years into the fifth year of this 5-year extension.
Right.
But the problem is that all his money, guaranteed money, is gone now. So this contract, if he break a leg or whatever, it's not guaranteed.
So they front loaded his contract,
exactly. Well, front loaded with the money. Yeah, all the guarantees have been met. So he's playing on paper right now. So if they choose to cut him after, they owe him nothing. So that's the biggest thing. So, you look at it since this deal that was signed in 2015, it was a 5-year extension onto his rookie deal with an estimated, not estimated, but it was $71.25 million extension.
Okay.
So with that, he's caught 307 passes for 4,724 yards and 17 touchdowns. Most yards of any receiver in the league during that stretch. So his credentials meet the criteria of give me my money.
Right.
And when you look at that, him being, I think, like the eighth.
7th, 8th.
Yeah, I think the eighth highest paid receiver at that position, that's a problem. And no guaranteed money. See, that's the thing. So, we look at Julio and you always say, well, he's quiet and not a diva. And we understand that. But this is not being a diva. This is about business.
Right.
Or as my man in Purple Rain said, it's a business. And he got to get his money. So being one of the top receivers in the game, you can't really fault him for saying, I need my money because football is a limited, livelihood on how long you can play this game. So he has to get what he can get. So I don't begrudge him at all for not showing up. He has, when we first saw it and he took down pictures off his Twitter and all this and social media, everybody was saying, well, we don't really think. Well, it's a little bit more method to the madness. He's doing what he has to do.
Now, the Falcons has been on record to say that they're going to talk to him, honor his requests and things.
Even Arthur Blank said it.
Yeah.
But, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's just, talking is just like this non-guaranteed contract you got. Show me the money. You can talk to me and tell me what you're going to do.
Right.
But until the ink is on the paper and dried and his signature is on it.
So extending him at this time, is that a move you'll make, or would you say, let's go ahead and play this season out and we'll talk about it next season, or what will be acceptable for you if you Julio?
If I'm Julio, I'm not coming in until they pay me. Because, it's a risk of – he's already been injured before. He's had it. Exactly. So
you can't even play 3 straight down.
I would not go play flag football until the contract was in there. Because what you saw is what the Falcons did was got an insurance policy down the street from Alabama this year.
Most people say that,
to groom him and say, okay, well, if Julio doesn't do, we'll groom him into being that number one receiver. Yeah. And that's they've hedged their bets.
Right.
And the Falcons made a good business decision. So they can say, well, Julio, we'll pay you this. We're not going to pay you all this.
Right.
And they got something in the deck, an ace in the hole right there, if you want to say it.
I feel you.
So, it was business move.
Gotcha. Second story. Smooth, we talked about this draft, and we'll get to Sean Tate's view on this as well. The NBA draft is coming up, I think the 21st of June, so it's approaching quickly. What player really interests you in this draft? And I know we just talked about Memphis and your thoughts on who they should move and things of that nature, but what player interests you in this draft, though? When you look at it, we've had a couple of weeks to see this, and we got the order. Give me your thoughts on what player interests you in this draft.
Well, we talk sports, we're all analysts, but we do have teams of our own that we do like. And, in this specific case, since the Grizzlies, who are my team, they're in the draft lottery, and they currently have their 4th pick. And on every mock draft, I continue to see Jaren Jackson Jr., the freshman out of Michigan State. And the more I look at him, the more intrigued I am by him. I mean, at the combine, he measured 6 foot 9.7 inches. He's right under 6'10". He has the second longest wingspan behind Mo Bamba. And, after looking at some of the film, he shoots the ball well. He shot it fairly well at Michigan State. He had, I think it was 38 threes and 106 blocks in his freshman year. He can also play inside. He defends well. He's a really intriguing player, and I think after looking at him and, his body of work, even though it's a small body of work, he looks like a really good prospect, and he looks like his ceiling could be one of the highest in the draft. And he's actually the youngest prospect in the draft also. He'll actually be 19 in September. So out of everyone that I've seen, he will probably be the most intriguing. And Trae Young, if the New York Knicks thing works out, that also is very interesting, a very appealing situation to me. And Luka Doncic, we don't know what's going to happen with him.
Right.
But for right now, I'll just go with Jaren Jackson.
Jaren Jackson.
Yeah.
Well, I think they also said all these things about Marvin Williams as well. And
yeah.
he way more athletic than Marvin Williams.
Well, I agree, but the sayings of what the measure, what he measured to be, what he could do, things of that nature. But if you don't go to a system that fits what you do, then we won't see it. Question number 3, or story number 3, the NFL has been in the news quite a bit lately, and they came down and said they are going to change the kickoff rule. G, can you tell us how this new kickoff rule will affect football with no running start and all kind of crazy two-man wedge no longer and things of that nature? Kind of give us your thoughts on how this would actually affect football in your opinion.
Well, I think they actually think there's going to be more kickoff returns.
Okay.
Because it will allow there's no running start. No, excuse me. There's no 5-yard running start. They get a 1-yard running start, if that is a running start at all. There's no wedge blocking, of course. I think that was already abolished. And the receiving team, they only have they can't block. They can only block after 15 yards. That after the kicking team has come 15 yards.
Wow, this could be
I don't see how they can do that what happens on an onside kick? That makes sense. See what I'm saying? It makes no sense.
Well, on an onside kick, you're not supposed to block anyone. You're supposed to get the ball. That's supposed to happen. That's what's supposed to happen.
There's a new rules? Because that's not happened in years.
The kicking team can block you, but you can't block them, I guess.
Right.
That's never been the case on an onside kick. You see them come up to block so the ball can be fielded by the back guy.
Okay, I think I got that. I got that part messed up there. It's actually until the ball is touched or hits the ground, no player in the receiving team can cross the restraining line, which is the 45-yard line on their side. So like on your own 45, you can't cross that until someone touches the ball.
They might as well outlaw the onside kick because there's no way you're going to be able to get to the ball from a standing start once it's kicked.
Or you're going to see more onside kicks.
Why? Because what I'm saying is the kicking team can't move until the ball is kicked.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Well,
you can't get to it.
You can't. Yeah, you can't cross the. It's weird because you can't cross the line.
Yeah. So how can?
But
you
on
can't
an
even-
onside kick, the ball goes right into the ground, so you can cross the line.
But what I'm saying is, normally when that kicker starts to go, the line moves with the kicker because you want to get a start.
With the kicking team, the ball's on the 35. The kicking team is at the 34. They only get a 1 yard running start. So, but until the ball touches the ground, no one in the receiving team can cross that 10-yard.
Wow.
Cross that 10-yard barrier.
It's going to be an intervention.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
And it's also added that it says this forces blockers on the receiving team to run back and block, which decreases the chance of an attack block that can result in these collisions that they're worried about. Mm-hmm. And they've also said that when the ball hits the end zone, it is automatically a touchback. A player does not have to down the ball in the end zone.
It's like college football. But I saw college football give up a touchdown, though, actually. And so that rule can go. Remember, Oklahoma State was playing someone. They kicked the ball off, and the receiver guys just let it lay, and then it got picked up for a touchdown. But normally I've seen the back judge, when that ball hits dead and there's no attempt to run it out, they just blow the play.
Blow it dead.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason.
This going to be an adventure. So, G, I think out of all of what you said, I think it's going to be an adventure. I'm pretty sure Hancock feels the same way. Smooth, I'm pretty sure.
Just do away with it
Just do away with
because
it.
they don't seem to know what they want to do.
What I want to do is sign a waiver. When you play football, you understand you can get hurt. And let's just play football.
Yeah.
Because this is ridiculous, man.
Does this in any way kind of make you feel like, well, you know what? They kind of changing the game that I grew up loving, and I'm really kind of not interested anymore.
Well, the stuff that they're worried about, I don't know how many of these concussions come on kickoffs and punt returns. They could happen from someone playing tackle or guard for 12 to 15 years, and they don't play special teams at all.
I agree.
It's just from them blocking somebody every play.
Richie Incognito. Yeah.
Definitely.
I don't know.
So
Crazy.
they're trying to make this place safer, but I think they've made it to where they want to, like, the rules that they made before, the changes they made before didn't allow for a lot of returns.
Right.
But now they're trying to make it allow for a lot of returns, but also trying to make the place safer. But it's gotten muddled to where you can be easily confused about what you're supposed to do as a special teams player. And then, with these guys that they're trying to make the team, that are 6th, 7th round picks, undrafted, they're trying to make a play on special teams. Who knows how risky what kind of risk they would take just to try to make a play now.
Right. So are we going to see more touchdowns on the kickoff?
I really don't know what we're going to see in the kickoff because I still don't understand the rules.
I
You
think
can't start-
there's an illustration on Twitter somewhere.
I'm going to have to find it.
I'm
'cause
going
I don't
to have to
understand.
tweet it out. That
I don't understand.
they had an illustration of how this new kickoff rule would be, and where only can have 3 guys in the back. It's all kind of little things, but we'll get to that. But moving on to some more NFL things. Around 12 o'clock today, lunchtime or somewhere around in that area, the NFL came down with a new policy of the anthem. They stated that all players that's on the field must honor and respect the flag, and if you have the choice to stay in the locker room, but teams can determine how that is handled, but your team can be fined if it is deemed disrespectful to the flag. Like I said before the show started, once again, this whole flag thing the narrative has changed, and this is the narrative that we are running with. and this is not what this was even about. So, Han, I'm gonna throw it to you and let you give your thoughts on this.
Said this, I guess, about 4 or 5 shows back. The NFL was gonna not have this year, and they have found a way to stop the protest from being used.
Right.
I don't know what else you can do, but protests against that anthem is not going to happen in the NFL anymore. And anything to protect the dollar, not the shield, is what this is about. You know, when you pay money to or get paid by the armed services or whatever to do these type of things, you know, pull out the flag and all these, you know, honor the veterans or whatever, but you get money for it, it's a sham.
Right.
That's all it's about. It's a money grab. And to politicize this thing so other branches will be comfortable, other powers that be are comfortable.
Right.
Because they made this a political thing rather than someone's freedom to protest in a peaceful way, which is what supposedly this country is supposed to be kind of founded on. You know, that piece of paper they talk about, Constitution.
Yeah.
Right.
You have rights and whatever.
Right.
Well, not in this case.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
So they basically taking your rights away.
Taking that right away. So, you know, I could understand. No, I can't understand. Now, it is what it is. You know, we've seen this with power you get to make the rules.
Yep.
And the powers that be have come together and made this rule. And that's all it's going to be. So I don't know. They've already made an example out of Kaepernick when it came out the other week that a lot of GMs around the league said, yes, he's a starter in this league right now. None of that because he ran this offense or he didn't do. It was nothing to do with anything else, but they made an example out of him. And they're also making an example out of the safety, Eric Reed. That's just what it is. This country and the powers that be have done this all of our lives and all of our parents and everybody else's life.
Right.
It is what it is. We can't beat the system. That's one of the most true statements you'll ever hear. You cannot beat the system.
Yeah.
Once the system is in place and it has been established in this country for a long time, you're not going to beat it.
Yeah.
And we see people fall in line even if they don't agree with it because they have to stay unified, which is one thing you have to give those people credit for. They stay unified.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Strength in numbers.
All right, Smooth, your thoughts on the new anthem?
I completely agree with Hancock. This is not surprising at all. The NFL, they've continually showed us who they are in the past. And at any time when business and those socio-political issues, when they collide, the NFL is shown that they're going to pick business over, you know, the political, what matters most politically or socially. They've shown us that they don't care. And, you know, I get it. It is what it is. You know, I'm dubbing it the Colin Kaepernick rule. So, you know, I think for those players in the NFL who do want to protest during the anthem or they want to show some solidarity in another way, I mean, you'll have to find another way. I mean, we've done it throughout history. We found ways to work around, you know, the rules, and this is just another example of that. You know, they made the rules. Unfortunately, we have to play by those rules, but, you know, and for me, it is what it is. Go ahead.
But didn't they cover themselves? What did you say about the team if it's deemed that it's, if they do something else, even not kneeling for the anthem, they can be fined for some other
whatever is deemed disrespectful.
So they covered themselves. You see what I'm saying? They've covered themselves. Mm-hmm. I don't know what other protests. What can you do? Because they have the power.
Yeah.
To say no, you wrong.
Yeah. But don't isn't there an option that they can stand inside the locker room?
Yeah.
They just can't be seen in the tunnel. So
right.
They don't want they don't want it to be seen.
Right. So but still that's not protesting this.
Right. No, I mean there's other ways to do it. You don't have to do it, you know, on the field in the anthem. I mean, you can get out in the community and do things.
Oh, well, yeah, in community. But you better not be representing the team though.
Right, exactly. I mean,
they're gonna get fined.
Yeah.
Don't wear the jersey.
So it's still gonna lose steam. Like I said, it's just, you know, and I'm not trying to knock what you're saying. I just say no matter what they've done is taken all the legs away from it.
Mm-hmm.
because there's nothing you have to stand on. You can't. The meat of this protest is because it was in a place where people saw it. So doing it on my own time, what is that going to do?
Right.
Nobody's following me around the camera. They're seeing me on Sunday before the game when millions of people are watching. So I get on social media, maybe do it, but still that team might say that's something detrimental to my team. You can't do that on social media.
Yeah.
They've covered themselves. I don't know what ways around it. I don't know what you can do.
Well, one last thing. We talk about it all the time. The way to really affect change is to hit them in their pocket, where it hurts most. And, until people are willing to go through radical extremes to make a really lasting change, I mean, there's probably really not much we can talk about until they're willing to say, hey, we're not going to play this week or an entire season or next week. Right. Until they're willing to go to those extremes, it's probably something we shouldn't talk about. They should just, go out and play. I mean, because they have to provide for their families and this and that.
That's it.
It is what it is.
And this is coming after a shooting at Waffle House.
Look,
and I mean, we can continue to go on about this.
What happened with the Milwaukee Bucks basketball player?
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, these are the things. This is why the protest was. It was nothing to do with the armed forces.
Yeah,
it's just
nothing to do with
social injustices that are happening.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
And just and the people who has a voice happen to play football, and that's
and they're using that platform. See,
right, using the platform, right? And that's
the NBA did this back with Mahmoud Raouf when they changed their rule and said, no, you're gonna come out and stand, or you stay in the locker room.
Right.
So that's what the NBA did. Mm-hmm. You can stand. They did this before. Once he was, they nipped it in the bud. But the NBA is an African American sport.
Yeah.
Football kind of crosses all genders and races,
especially in business.
Right. So, and that's the thing. It's the biggest money making sport in America, and it's tied to the armed forces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like, nah, you're not gonna do that here.
Yeah. But then, if you really listen to the actual anthem,
no.
You want me to stand for that when it basically encourages and congratulates slavery.
Yeah. I mean,
let's just keep it real.
Yeah, you're right. We're a nation of miseducated and misinformed people, and until people take the onus or put the onus on themselves to go out and read books, educate themselves, and learn what things really are about,
right,
and why these things exist. Until we start doing that, nothing is gonna change.
How about they change the national anthem song to something that unifies the actual country?
Get money. That represents the country. Get money.
Yeah.
All right, man. That's gonna do it for Hot News. Sponsored by Big Easy Grill. Please go over to the Big Easy Grill, 1193 Collier Road, and don't forget, when you go, $25 or more, ask for the SRT discount, and you will get it.